The night was dark, with only the pale light of the moon casting shadows across the kingdom. Atieno, Kwame, and the guards were on high alert. Knowing that Okoro's men would strike soon, the air was thick with tension as they waited, listening for any sign of movement. Atieno couldn't help but feel a chill in her bones. She had never imagined that the peaceful life she once knew could be shattered like this. Her father, Chief Malu, stood by her side, his face hard with determination. The palace was ready for what was coming, but they had no way of knowing how fierce the battle would be. Just as the clock struck midnight, the silence was broken by the sound of hurried footsteps. Okoro's men were attacking, moving quickly and quietly through the shadows. The first wave came with a loud crash as they tried to break through the palace gates. Atieno's heart raced, and she instinctively grabbed her father's arm. "It's happening," she whispered. Kwame, who had been standing at the ready, signaled to his fellow agents. They moved swiftly, positioning themselves at strategic points around the palace. The battle was about to begin. The clash of steel and the shouts of men filled the night as Okoro's men launched their assault. Kwame was at the forefront, his every move sharp and precise. He fought with the skill of a trained warrior, his eyes focused on the enemy. Atieno watched in awe as he took down one attacker after another. It was clear that Kwame was no ordinary man. He wasn't just the quiet farmer she had once looked down on. He was a skilled protector, someone who would do anything to keep the kingdom safe. As the battle raged on, Atieno's fear grew. She had never seen violence like this before, but she couldn't back down now. Her father needed her. She moved alongside him, helping where she could, her mind racing with thoughts of Okoro's betrayal. How had she been so blind? How had she trusted him all these years? The fighting seemed to go on forever, but Kwame and his agents held their ground. They fought with everything they had, pushing Okoro's men back inch by inch. It was a brutal struggle, but they were determined not to lose. Atieno could hear the sounds of the battle growing closer, but she remained by her father's side, her resolve hardening. Finally, after what felt like hours, the tide began to turn. Kwame's agents had gained the upper hand, and Okoro's men started to retreat. Kwame himself was at the heart of the battle, his movements swift and deadly. It wasn't long before he spotted Okoro in the midst of the fighting. The traitor was trying to flee, but Kwame was faster. With one final push, he cornered Okoro, his eyes full of fury. "Your plan ends here," Kwame said, his voice cold. Okoro sneered, but there was no escape now. He had been caught. The man who had once been trusted by Chief Malu was now exposed as a traitor. Atieno, watching from a distance, couldn't believe her eyes. The man who had betrayed her family was finally going to pay for his crimes. Kwame stepped forward, grabbing Okoro by the arm and pulling him to the ground. "You've betrayed the kingdom, Okoro," he said firmly. "Your plans are finished." As Okoro struggled to break free, the truth of his treachery became clear to everyone. He had been working with outsiders to overthrow the chief, to tear apart everything Chief Malu had built. The palace guards rushed forward to capture him, and he was quickly restrained. Atieno rushed to her father's side, relief flooding through her. "It's over, father," she said, her voice trembling with emotion. "Okoro is defeated." Chief Malu nodded, his face hard but relieved. "Yes, it is. But we must not forget the cost of this betrayal. Many lives have been lost tonight." Kwame, standing nearby, looked over at Atieno. Their eyes met, and in that moment, Atieno knew that the man she had once despised was truly a hero. She had misjudged him in so many ways, but now she understood. He had fought not just for the kingdom, but for the people he loved. As the sun began to rise over the kingdom, the battle was won. Okoro's treachery had been exposed, and peace had been restored. The kingdom was safe, but it had come at a great price. Atieno stood beside her father, watching as the last of Okoro's men were taken into custody. She had learned a hard lesson that night. True strength wasn't about wealth or status, but about honor, loyalty, and the courage to do what was right. Kwame, though exhausted from the battle, stood tall and proud. The quiet farmer she had once looked down on had become the hero of the kingdom. And as Atieno looked at him, she knew that she would never see him the same way again. The man who had once been a stranger to her had become someone she admired deeply. He had proven that true worth was not measured by gold or title, but by the strength of one's character. After the battle, as the dust settled and peace returned to the kingdom, Atieno found herself reflecting on everything that had happened. The events of the night, the truth about Okoro's betrayal, and Kwame's bravery had changed her deeply. For the first time, she truly understood what it meant to be strong. It wasn't about being wealthy or having a high status. It wasn't about being the prettiest or the most admired. It was about having character, about showing bravery in the face of danger, and most importantly, about love. Kwame had shown all of these qualities, and she had been blind to them for so long. Atieno couldn't help but feel guilty for how she had treated him. She had judged him harshly, thinking he was just a poor farmer, someone beneath her. But now she saw him in a new light. He wasn't just a farmer, he was a protector, a hero who had risked his life to save her father and the entire kingdom. She felt a deep sense of regret for ever doubting him. She had been wrong, and she needed to make things right. One evening, as the sun set and painted the sky in shades of orange and pink, Atieno approached Kwame. He was standing outside their hut, looking out over the fields. There was a calmness about him, a peace that Atieno hadn't noticed before. She took a deep breath and walked up to him, her heart pounding in her chest. She had to speak from her heart. "Kwame," she began, her voice soft but steady. "I want to apologize. I have treated you terribly and I've been wrong about you. You are not just a farmer. You are a man of great courage, honor, and strength. I misjudged you, and I'm sorry for that." Kwame turned to her, his expression kind but unreadable. Atieno could see that he had already forgiven her, but she needed to say these words anyway. "I should never have looked down on you because of your background. I realize now that what truly matters is who a person is inside, and you are a man of great character. I've learned so much from you." Kwame smiled gently, his eyes warm with understanding. "Atieno," he said quietly, "you have nothing to apologize for. We all have our lessons to learn. I have never been angry with you. I only wanted you to see who I truly am, not the man you thought I was." Atieno felt a wave of relief wash over her. It was as though a heavy weight had been lifted from her chest. The tension between them was gone, replaced by a new understanding. It was then that Atieno realized something else. She had come to respect Kwame, not just as a man, but as her partner. Her feelings for him had grown in ways she hadn't expected. What had started as a forced marriage had slowly turned into something real, something built on mutual respect and admiration. Over the next few weeks, Atieno and Kwame's relationship grew stronger. They worked together, shared moments of laughter, and slowly began to build the kind of marriage that Atieno had never thought possible. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. There were no more walls between them, no more bitterness or anger. They were two people who had learned to appreciate each other for who they truly were. As time passed, Atieno realized that she had found something more valuable than wealth or status. She had found love, built on honesty and respect. She no longer cared about what the villagers thought of her marriage to Kwame. She had learned that true happiness didn't come from society's expectations, but from the strength of her own heart and the love she shared with her husband. Atieno and Kwame's life together wasn't what she had imagined it would be when she was younger, but it was far better. They had found something more precious than gold or jewels, a love that had been tested, but had come out stronger for it. And in the quiet moments of their life together, Atieno knew that she had found the greatest treasure of all. As the days passed after the battle, life in Zangora began to return to normal. The villagers couldn't stop talking about the events that had unfolded. They were in awe of Kwame's bravery and courage. Chief Malu, who had once seen Kwame as just a poor farmer, now saw him as a hero. With great pride, the chief called a special meeting in the village square. The whole village gathered, eager to witness the honor that would be bestowed upon the man who had saved them all. Atieno stood beside Kwame, feeling a deep sense of admiration for the man she had once underestimated. Her heart swelled with pride as her father, Chief Malu, addressed the crowd. With a solemn yet warm expression, Chief Malu spoke to the villagers, his voice carrying across the crowd. "Today I stand before you to recognize a man who has proven his loyalty and bravery." The chief began. "This man, Kwame, is not just a farmer. He is the protector of our kingdom. He has risked his life to defend us all, and for that, He deserves our respect and gratitude. From this day forward, I proudly name him the protector of Zangora." The crowd erupted into applause, and Kwame's face softened with humility. He hadn't asked for recognition or rewards. He had simply done his duty, as he had always done. But the honor he received that day was a reflection of the deep respect and gratitude the people of Zangora now had for him. Atieno stood by his side, her heart full of emotions she couldn't fully express. She had once thought herself too good for a man like Kwame, too proud and too high in status to ever truly understand him. But now, standing in front of the entire village, she saw him for who he truly was, a man of great strength, integrity, and love. The arrogant, selfish girl she had once been was gone. In her place stood a woman who had learned the true meaning of humility and respect. As the days went by, Atieno's transformation became evident to everyone around her. The once proud and spoiled daughter of the chief was now a humble woman, known for her wisdom and kindness. She worked alongside Kwame in their small home, doing the chores with a smile, no longer resentful of the life she had been forced into. The villagers began to see her in a new light. She had become the woman they had always hoped she would be, a leader, a partner, and a symbol of true strength. Atieno had learned that the value of a person was not in their wealth or status, but in their character. She had married a man she had once considered beneath her, only to find that he was everything she had ever needed. Kwame had shown her the true meaning of love, and in return, she had learned to love him in a way she never thought possible. In time, Atieno became a wise and respected woman in Zangora. She and Kwame worked together to make the village a better place, helping those in need and guiding the younger generation with the lessons they had learned from their own journey. And though they were no longer the center of the village's gossip, they were respected by all. Atieno, once too proud to see the worth in a poor man, had found herself married to a true hero, a man whose love and honor had changed her life forever. The girl, who had once believed she deserved only the best, now understood that the best was not always what you expected. It was the man who stood by your side through thick and thin, the one who taught you the meaning of real strength and love. And in the end, that was worth more than anything she had ever imagined.